I'm a bad motherfucker.
There's folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. I damn sure see them in California. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough of them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine, but somehow, some way, we can't fix the homeless problem. I'm down for helping Israel. I'm down for helping address the situations with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay? I'm down for helping the Ukrainians and fighting off Russia. What about poor and desolate citizens here? How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America who were born and raised here? This is what I'm talking about. And so when you have something like that, what's the one way to eradicate it? Yes, you got to have a flourishing economy. Yes, you can't have inflation. Yes, you can't be on the verge of a recession. Milk don't need to cost $7. Bread don't need to cost $5. Don't get me started with how much sugar costs. You can talk about employment all you want to. You can talk about the labor participation rate. But guess what? If you ain't making no damn money and you got to get two jobs to pay the same prices or to buy the same amount of stuff that you used to buy and the price is higher than it used to be because of inflation, then guess what? What are you really accomplishing?
I feel like
that's
this
why
one.
Trump is on the verge of getting elected.
Oh.
Because when he was in office, there was a flourishing economy.
So I feel like this might be a good time to plug my book, Your Country's Just Not That Into You. And look for my upcoming follow-up to this book, Your Country Wants to Cut Your Dick Off and for You to Kill Yourself.
What are you going to finish? Is that before Justice is Coming? Will it be in a more timely fashion?
I think so. I really do need to write. I wrote this book in 2015. So I need to put it.
And we didn't listen.
So this is almost 10 years ago I wrote this book. Wow. I need to redo it. Wow. So, but here, let me just show you this. So this is like the fact check or the puts this in context.
Oh, thank God.
But I don't think the context makes it that much better. Well, let's listen.
Some lawmakers are expressing outrage over a New York City program that they claim will give millions of dollars in prepaid cards to migrant families. One verified viewer texted us to ask if this, quote, free-for-all is actually happening. So let's verify. Our sources are the Office of New York City Mayor Eric Adams, the New York City Controller, and Mobility Capital Finance. These claims need context, and here's why. We verified that it's true. On February 5th, Mayor Adams announced a pilot program to provide 500 migrant families with prepaid debit cards. But these cards can only be used to buy about $12 worth of food or baby supplies per day per person. They're not free money, as some of the online claims seem to imply.
What?
That sounds like free money.
Sounds like a WIC card.
Yeah. It's so I guess it's not actual cash, but it does exactly what actual cash does. It buys you stuff.
But only so much per day.
But only so much per day.
You can't buy lobster like welfare. Remember that? Like welfare, they're buying lobster?
Yeah, it's right. But that contradicts. Okay.
Wait, see how
I heard it before it said up to $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
And then you could renew that every 30 days. So
it's welfare for illegal immigrants.
That's what it is.
Okay, so he just flashed on the screen what like the little details of it, and see how quickly it cuts away from those details.
Yes. Yeah.
To like, you can only use it to buy food, and you mean like money?
So yeah, and by the way, they have to swear an oath that they'll only use it for money. So would they have to use an oath? Anyway, here we go.
New York will reallocate $53 million for the pilot from money that is currently being spent to cater and deliver meals for those in the program. And Adams says it's expected to save more than $7 million per year.
It made no sense delivering the food, and then some of the food that we were delivering people didn't want. So here's your debit card with a dollar amount that is lower dollar amount, smarter way to do it.
So, while New York City is giving out prepaid cards to migrant families, they can only be used to buy food and baby supplies, and it's a replacement for how the city currently distributes emergency food supplies. With Your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewitt.
Okay, so again, that contradicts what this says. A family of four could receive $1,000 a month. So a family of four. So, or $35 per day.
Per person, right?
So he said only $12 a day.
Per person, though.
But it's per person.
And this is for a family,
So this is for a family. So $1,000 in 1 month is more money than they gave to the people in Lahaina.
Quite a bit more.
Yeah.
You gave them $700, and I think it took a while to get there.
And it took a long time.
It took quite some time.
So this is what I've been saying. Just like what this guy said. I got no problem helping people. I got no problem helping poor people. I got no problem helping migrants. But when we have Americans and veterans sleeping in the streets, there's homeless people all over the place.
They're practically other dimensional aliens at this point.
Yeah.
For how no one can see them.
No one can see them.
I think they're building new particle colliders, so we one day may be able to encounter the homeless.
When you hear report after report of senior citizens having to cut their medicine in half, and we're giving away tens of millions of dollars to 500 families that aren't even citizens. Again, this is not to demonize the immigrants or the migrants. They call them migrants.
It's to demonize your government.
This is to demonize your government. So you can, so you at the flip of it, you can provide money and aid to people who aren't citizens. By the way, who are here primarily because the billionaire class wants to lower your wages. That's what this is about. It's a big part of what this is about.
Have them police you too, probably. But that's what Durbin said.
And join your military because people don't want to join the military anymore to go fight. So, and we can send hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars to the military industrial complex, tens of billions of dollars to Israel. We can't send a couple of $1 billion to America to fix homelessness. $10 billion would pay for community college for the whole goddamn country. They'll never do any of this. So again, this goes back into my theory that the billionaire class, this is not only in the United States, but you're all over. They want everybody on edge, just like we were during COVID. So it makes us easier to control. And it makes us beg for authoritarian solutions. That's what this seems like. It seems like this grand plan, not only to lower wages and to fill our military with foreigners, but it also seems like to keep us on edge, to keep us begging for authoritarian solutions to our problems. And they've got the money. Again, they printed $5 trillion during COVID, and they didn't give it to you. They could have, again, you can fix homelessness for $20 billion. They won't do it. They won't do it on purpose. There isn't a politician I've seen run in the last 5-10 years that even mentions homelessness. Even Cornel West, when he came on the show, didn't make it. Didn't make it to his list of priorities. His priorities was demonizing your neighbor as a neo-fascist.
I think the much larger issue here, after that great context they added, was they try to make it better by saying, well, it's actually cheaper.
It's cheaper
than what we're spending now. So what you're telling me is it's way fucking worse than I even knew.
Yes.
That's what you tell all people who live in New York. And by the way, here's a real cheap solution. Shut down the goddamn border and stop being a goddamn sanctuary. That would save a lot of bucks too, I bet.
Yeah, I bet you that would save $53 million just off the top.
That's crazy. It's not even, they're not into you. They want you dead.
When a guy like Dennis Kucinich, who's so far to the left that the Democrats gerrymandered him out of his own district in Ohio, when he says we have to seal the border, this is no longer a left-right issue. This is exactly what Bernie Sanders said was happening in 2015. Bernie Sanders says an open border policy is a Koch brothers policy, which means, what does that mean? That means the billionaire class wants this. And why? Because it suppresses wages. That's the first thing.
Hey,
but it also destabilizes cities. It makes people on edge, and it makes people beg for authoritarian solutions. Also, I'm going to look more into this, but I'm getting text after text from people saying that they're trying to make it okay for illegal immigrants to vote.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
I thought we showed a clip of the lady saying it'll be great to have their vote. Maybe I watched it.
Maybe I wasn't here. Maybe I was on the road and you did it with Kurt.
No, I might have saw it on Memology 101.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she said it and then like it backfired. I can't remember even what state it was. It was in Chicago, New York. She goes, well, no, New York. And it's going to change our, here's an even more important reason. It's going to change our.
And I don't want to call people, again, this is not to demonize desperate people who are coming to the United States.
Well, I was going to deflect that way and say that's what you're saying so I could deflect from your point.
Right. But when people in America can't pay their bills, when people are working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs just to pay their bills, when senior citizens are taking half the medicine that they're prescribed because they can't afford it, when people can't afford housing,
when eggs are $50
again, it's you know what when they give you the instruction on a plane, hey, if we lose pressure and air masks fall from the ceiling, make sure you secure your mask first before you secure your kids. Why do you think that is? Because if you pass out, you're not going to be able to take care of your kid. So we can't take care of our own country, yet we have people flooding our country and we're taking care of them or trying to. Or spending tens of millions of dollars in one city alone.
Jimmy, they're busing. Okay.
This is crazy what's going on.
They are busing them in on purpose. Do you know that?
This is crazy.
They are busing them. It's not just people, I'm desperate to cross the thing. They got goddamn, in other countries, on the way up, they've got encampments set up. It's various charities. There's one called the Catholic. James O'Keefe just showed it. They've been showing on a bunch of stuff. They're busing military-age men across the border. So you don't even need to explain that shit, because if somebody out there thinks that's what it is, it's just desperate, like a mother and her child and a dreamer. It's not that. It's a coordinated, only young military-age men for the most part, and then kids who disappear, that they're shipping on purpose. And it's the Open Society, all the greats are funding this. The WEF, all that you heard about. It's so much worse than whatever anybody's thinking. So you don't even have to worry about blaming it. Your own government's bussing them in. Like that, we saw Dick Durbin say what this is for.
I showed Dick Durbin.
So was everybody need? How many times do they have to tell you what the plan is? Let's think of all the new things. They're all to isolate you, sterilize you, and then like Canada's like, hey, and why don't you kill yourself now? So, and by the way, they're saluting Nazis, and they're doing a eugenics thing right in front of your goddamn face. That's what's happening.
This is stunning. That's all I can say is this is stunning. And when a guy like him, who's been on television since I can remember watching television, I don't know how long he's been on TV, 20 years. So this guy is he's been a millionaire for a long, long time. And when he's upset, when it actually affects his mentality, again, and they just keep trying to prop up this demented Joe Biden.
Well, you know why? Remember, replacement theory is a racist conspiracy theory that from white supremacists. Well, look, turns out they're replacing every other kind of color of people
Right.
from America. Nobody born here matters. They need to be thinned out. We're going to bring in some new blood. I don't know who the hell's the top of the pyramid making those calls, but here's the mind control they use over the elites. It's called money. They give you a big shit pile of it, and then you'll say whatever the fuck. They don't even tell you any secret shit. A big pile of money. That's how they do it.
Well, if you're pissed off about this, I'll see you Friday in Philadelphia, and I'll make some jokes about it. This Friday, what's the name of the theater? The Theater of the Living Arts in Philadelphia. We'll see you there this Friday. This is nuts. Okay.
You know, Jimmy, I just wanted to let you know that according to the AP, November 3rd, 2022, the claim is registering non-citizens to vote. That's a false. Voter registration in California is restricted to U.S. citizens.
This was in New York.
Okay, but that's just in California.
Okay, I just wanted
what you just read was just about California. Okay, they're also counting them in the census. People are call them undocumented. Again, this is not because I have a chip on my shoulder against desperate people who are coming to the United States. I have a chip on my shoulder against the system that allows that to happen in cities that were not even taking care of the people who are here already.
If you don't see that off the, I don't think you should have to explain jack
They're
shit.
shutting down schools to put undocumented immigrants in.
Stephen Smith notices it.
Steve, this
This
is what
genius.
So if this guy notices it, this guy who's lived at the tippy top of society for the last 20 years, he's noticing it.
I have a headline from New York Times that says New York City's non-citizen voting law is struck down, and that was from June 27, 2022.
What does that mean? What is a non-citizen voting law? What does it mean?
Is this they had one
A
in
state
place?
Supreme Court judge from Staten Island said that the measure, which would allow more than 800 non-citizens to vote, violated the state's constitution.
So they are trying to
They'll
do
get
that.
it through. Don't worry.
So they are trying to have people who aren't citizens vote.
Wait till the Black Swan event happens that they're worried about it
Yes.
on MSNBC. That sounds like fear-mongering conspiracy theory. There's a Black Swan event coming.
Right?
We're busting up military-age illegal aliens here. Is everybody crazy?
Okay. Wow. We'll see if in Philadelphia this Friday. That's all I can say.
Maybe.
We'll see in
Maybe you
Philadelphia
will.
this Friday. Okay. Over to Steph.
Well, should
Don't
we
fly
go right
Delta.
back because we're going to bring on a guest?
Sure. Okay. We're going to have on Dr. Drew coming up.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
Go to a card.
I believe in having a substantial percentage of my financial future secured with gold and silver. This is actually real. This is true. I'm putting about 25% of my retirement. I never even thought about this stuff before. That's why I decided to partner with our sponsor, Colonial Metals Group. They helped me set up a safe and secure self-directed IRA. You know what that is, Jackie? Self-directed IRA, where I have access to my assets no matter what the stock market, and for that matter, whatever the government is doing as well. Let the team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. We've put together a special offer for our audience. Click on the link in the description below or call our special 800 number and you'll receive a safe and up to 10 grand in free silver. Go to colonialmetals.com/Jimmy-Dore-show or call 888-910-1419.
Things people love about you is they believe you tell it like it is.
Says it like it is. He speaks the truth.
It's about time we have a man like Trump in here. They ain't afraid to tell it like it is, man.
We like him. He tells it like it is.
He says what he means. I honestly believe he's telling the truth.
She has no natural talent to be president.
She's very talented, and she has a husband that I also like very much.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Hillary Clinton, how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else.
Let's say Hillary is president.
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job, and I like her. I will build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay?
Listen, you motherfuckers.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them. Political bullshit.
You're not going to raise that fucking price, you understand?
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
Everybody's got to be covered.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side. He said I was in favor of Libya. I never discussed that subject. I was in favor of Libya. We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of people. We should go in. We should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. Stop him from doing it and save these lives.
They're here illegally. You take them, they have to go back.
We have to show some compassion. We just can't throw everybody out.
They have
so you're going to split up families.
Chuck,
you're going to deport children.
Chuck, no. We're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep them together out.
But they have to go.
How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years?
North Korea has nukes. Japan has a problem with that. I mean, they have a big problem with it. Maybe they would, in fact, be better off if they defend themselves from North Korea. Maybe we would be better off, including with nukes. Yes, including with nukes.
And they said, I want Japan to nuke. I want Japan to get nuclear weapons. Give me a break.
But if you say to Japan, yes, it's fine, you get nuclear weapons, South Korea, you as well, and Saudi Arabia says we want them too.
Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. So it's only a question of time. I'm a conservative person.
The Republicans are just too crazy right. I mean, just what's going on is just nuts.
Bush says, I do not believe he's a true conservative. These people are stupid.
Do you identify more as a Democrat or a Republican?
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
The economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party. Wages too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world. I hate to say it, but we have to leave it the way it is. I don't know how people make it on $7.25 an hour. I would like to see an increase of some magnitude.
Do you believe voters have a right to see your tax returns before they make a final decision?
I don't think they do.
If I decide to run for office, I'll produce my tax returns, absolutely.
There have been many presidents that have not shown their tax returns.
Actually, every single nominee since 1976 has released their tax
before
returns.
1976.
Nobody was worse to women or abused women more than Bill Clinton.
Look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant.
She's married to a man who got impeached.
They tried to impeach him, which was nonsense.
He was impeached for lying.
I'm the only one on the stage that said we should not go into Iraq.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
Honesty, Carter once said, I'll never lie to you. Would you say that, the American people?
I would never lie.
When I'm president, I'm a different person. I can do anything. I can be the most politically correct person that you've ever seen. I can be the most politically correct person in the world. And I can be the opposite.
The president has to be a great leader, and you have to lead by example.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Like to punch him in the face.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
Blood coming out of her, wherever.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
I don't know what I said. This guy will say anything.
Certain that Donald Trump has ever read outside of his own is the book of Hitler's speeches he kept next to his bed in the 1990s, according to his ex-wife. His ex-wife, he was very pissed when she released that information, okay? Because at that time he was still liberal. He didn't want people to know it at that time. So somehow she fell down the stairs and cracked her head open, right? All right, so we're going to get into this, and I'm going to show you this, all right? 92-year-old C-SPAN caller said he met Trump's father, a fan of Hitler and dictators. During C-SPAN's Washington Journal call-in segment, Pete, who identified himself as a 92-year-old from West Palm Beach, Florida, said Trump's father, Fred Trump, visited his village and was a fan of Hitler and dictators. Pete implied Trump got his views of dictators from his father. Now, keep in mind that Donald Trump was a libtard his entire life. Children are often heavily influenced by the views of their parents. Trump's father and Trump were sued for racial discrimination in housing, and Fred was once arrested at a Ku Klux Klan rally for failing to disperse. The 1927 article reporting the arrest doesn't make it clear Fred Trump's status or association with the Klan. Don't his actual loyalties to the brewing years of World War II if they happen to live in the greater New York City region. New York and its suburbs in Long Island and New Jersey had a vibrant community of first and second generation German Americans, the latter having included Fred Trump Sr., a rising star in real estate and retailing. Also active in New York, New Jersey region was the German American Bund, or Amerika Deutscher Bund, an organization that supported Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party and the goals and aspirations of the new Germany. The Bund had been created in May 1933 on the orders of German Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess. The first Bund leader was German immigrant Heinrich Heinz Spacknobel, who initially called his group the Friends of New Germany. In fact, the Bund was nothing more than an overseas extension of the German Nazi Party, and it took its orders directly from Berlin. Outside of the town in Windham, on American soil no less, right? The height of the Bund's activities was a February 20, 1930 rally at New York City's Madison Square Garden. This is the rally that I'm talking about right here, okay? This is the rally that Enlightened Master is telling you that Donald Trump's father was in, okay? Sir Norman Vincent Peale was Donald Trump's 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason pastor. This is the seal of the 33rd degree. It's also the family crest of Donald J. Trump. Okay, Albert Pike, who is the most famous Scottish Rite Freemason of all time, was the head of the Knights of the Golden Order, who later changed their name to the Ku Klux Klan. I'm going to provide it. Okay, I'm not going to be nasty to people. I'm just going to provide the information. All right, that's what I'm going to do. The elder Trump was publicly. He was even sued for it, publicly known to be a racist, and he refused to rent his apartments in Queens and Brooklyn to African Americans. Wow, that must be a coincidence. In 1927, there were few organizations for far-right extremists like Fred Trump to join. One was the KKK, which had its roots in the post-Civil War Reconstruction South. Another was Italian lender Benito Mussolini's overseas Fascisti, which was primarily composed of Italian immigrants to the United States. By the early 1930s, far-right wingers in the American North were fast to embrace the Nazis, and Kuhn's Bund was able to ready to answer the call and begin recruiting in its ranks. Fred Trump's FBI file, which includes the 1927 arrest at the KKK march, appears to be missing his pre-war and immediate post-war year activities. The file does not resume until the 1960s, when the FBI began monitoring the elder Trump's association with mafia syndicates in New York. Brother, remember I told you and I've showed you unequivocally that his brother had everything to do with the murder of and the torture of Nikola Tesla. In New York, old man Trump also suspiciously volunteered after dodging World War II draft to construct Navy barracks and garden apartments in at least 3 highly sensitive Navy ports in Chester, Pennsylvania, and Norfolk and Newport News, Virginia. Yeah, that's right. He was a draft dodger, to all you Trump dodgers out there. All 3 ports saw thousands of Americans and Canadian troops embarked for combat in North Africa and Europe. Some of these ships fell prey to German U-boats, which received intelligence on the Allied ship movements from Nazi agents in the very same port areas where old man Trump so generously bid on construction contracts with the Navy. Right here, with the Navy. Let me repeat his treason again, okay? All 3 ports saw thousands of American and Canadian troops embarked for combat in North Africa and Europe. Some of these troop ships fell prey to German U-boats. In other words, Americans got killed because of Donald Trump's father, which received intelligence on the Allied ship movements from Nazi agents in the very same port areas where old man Trump so generously bid on construction contracts with the Navy.
I suppose old man Trump knows just how much racial hate he stirred up in the blood parts of the folks in New York State. He drawed that colored line that we fought in the last war, and we ain't got no home in this world anymore. Beach Haven ain't my home. I just can't pay the rent. My money's down the drain, and my soul is badly bent.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit